Welcome to Squared Circle Gridiron. I am Don Wade. To the right is Ricky, and below me is Ron. And just like Penix, I feel like someone has kicked my ass. A little under the weather, but we're going to get through this today. Last night was a big game, guys. It's a tragedy that it's over now. We look forward to it all year. We actually covered almost every game this year. We've been here for a while. Doesn't feel like we've been here for 18 weeks, but we have. And I've really enjoyed the first season doing this. I hope to do it again in the future.
Absolutely.
Oh, big time, man. Big time.
So it's been fun, reliving these games, good and bad. And God knows if you're a Broncos fan, been a lot of bad.
Listen, guys, I'll tell you what, from the first episode or two to now, I mean, I'll speak for myself. I'll speak for all of us. I thought we came a really long way. I thought we've done a fantastic job. It was a little choppy there, but I think we've definitely done a really good job.
Yeah,
I'm happy with it. I am so much happier with our podcast than Washington can be with their offense right now, because last night was a title game. The Michigan Wolverines came out and win. There's been a few things today about the possible asterisk that's going to go along with their championship. There hasn't been a whole lot of noise about it yet, but it's going to be talked about in the future when you get down the line. They're going to talk about the suspension. Harbaugh underwent. You can't avoid that, right? But you tip your hat, you say you won the whole thing. But you did get your coach suspended twice, and you can complain and say it's not fair and everybody does it, but it happened, right? The NCAA I don't think is done, but I'm not going to talk about that yet. I want to talk about the Michigan-Washington game. I swear I saw 3 different football games last night, and I don't think I'm alone. I watched Michigan beat the hell out of Washington for about a quarter and a half. I saw Washington get back in the game for about a quarter and a half, and then I saw Michigan just pull away and beat the hell out of them. That's what I saw last night. Ron, tell me what you saw. I saw 3 games. I literally saw 3 football games.
I saw 3 football games too, because the first quarter and a half, maybe the quarter, they're just running all over them. They couldn't stop the run, and then they figured out how to stop the run. Then Washington kind of started coming alive, but they would falter at times. Penix was way off last night. That's probably the worst I've seen him all season long. And then they came back, and then like Colorado's defense took their place, and they played like Colorado's defense towards the end, and that was it.
It looked like they got worn out as the game went on. The physicality. Go ahead, then, Ricky. And I'll talk about where Harbaugh's going next in a little bit.
Well, I was going to add that. I thought, listen, I'll be honest with you, I didn't realize how fast Michigan was. And I think they were just, as the game went on, you saw they were better athletes. They were more physically ready to go. And I think they basically just wore Washington down. Washington just didn't have, Washington couldn't keep up. So I thought they held their own for the first, half, but then after that, I don't think they could keep up.
The one thing that really caught my eye last night, we'll get into Penix and his struggles in a little bit, but it just looked like Michigan came out there being the more physical team. It just looked like they were going to hit you, be it the cornerbacks, the linebackers, or the defensive linemen. They were going to make sure that they sent a signal to Washington all night. They hit them all night. They didn't let them get up. They kept them down on the ground. They made them run for their life. It was just a physical domination by a team. And here's what gets me about this whole game, right? If you look at the draft pundits and the draft boards and what's going on right now, if you look at all of that, Washington's supposed to have like 2 first-round picks. I think Michigan's supposed to have 1. Possibly 3 with Washington if you throw Penix into the mix, which we'll talk about here, like I said in a minute. But you tell me, I was watching this and I made the comment today. Michigan looked like the first team that I've seen, and I can probably since Nebraska. I didn't see any speed at the wide receiver position. I didn't see any speed at tailback. It was just a bruising old school. 96 Nebraska would have been proud. Because they brought back the old school game. They ran for like 200 yards. It was not your typical modern day football game. And that's really what sort of caught me off guard. By the way, thanks everybody for joining tonight. Please like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. We love those thumbs up. We love the subscriptions. Helps us out. Helps us keep doing this. Just the mentality of this game. Because there was a time where all of a sudden Michigan couldn't run on them. Washington looks like they had bowed up. They couldn't go anywhere. And then the fourth quarter, the dam broke and there was nothing they could do to stop it.
That one pass to Loveland, the tight end, that's what sealed it right there. Right there. And I think not only did they send a message to Washington, they sent a message to USC, UCLA, and all the other teams are going to the Big Ten next year, because they said this is what Big Ten football is all about right here. It's not that soft ass defenses that you guys play out there. This is what we do here.
And I think that's a great point. I think you're exactly right. What we saw last night from the Wolverines was old school Big Ten football.
And we talked about that last week, that we were looking forward to having an old school classic Big Ten versus Pac-12 matchup. And that's what we got, only the Pac-12 never showed up. They just didn't.
No.
And I've read a lot of – go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I think when the game started, we saw matchup 1 and 2 and we were excited. And we certainly should have been. Washington's a good team. But I just think that the matchup in this case, Michigan was just too much. Now, if we look at other teams, whether it's a Georgia or maybe even an Alabama or something like that, I think that it would have been a lot more competitive because they would have matched up better with the Wolverines. I don't think Washington did. I don't think Washington could match up with them.
I will say, having said that, I will say this. I do think now, having seen it all, I think Michigan really was the best team in the country this year. I
can't argue with that.
Georgia could have maybe made it close, but I don't think they could have beaten it. I really don't. Georgia was too beat up. Georgia was so beat up at the end of the season, they would have had half of their team ready for this game. Yeah, they weren't ready for the bowl game the day before. Their best weapon was still on the bench. Their best wide receiver was still a little bit hobbled. I was thoroughly impressed with this old school type of football game. What didn't impress me, though, was Michael Penix, and I know you said this was his worst outing of the season that you'd seen him play. Here's the bottom line. If you go back and you look at his last 9 games, he had 8 interceptions. He had less than 300 yards 5 times. That was his last 9 games. And they had a lot of close contests. I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback, but he struggled the last 9 games compared to how he started the season. He was red hot for a while. Yeah. Like the first 5 out of 7, I want to say he threw for like 350 or 400 yards. He was really hot. He struggled here. We have talked about this. I know I have. If you get him on the move, he is a different quarterback. He's not as mobile as he once was because of the surgeries he's had. His arm's a little bit dinged up because of the surgeries he's had. He's a little bit older. I don't think you heal his – I'm not saying he's an old man. Nobody say, oh, God, he said he's old. Well, look, you guys know, as you get in your mid-20s, man, that hangover at 21 hurts a little bit more. That body's a little bit sore, a little bit slower to recover as you get older. I like Penix. I think Penix can be a really good quarterback if he goes to the right environment. What he cannot do is carry the team. The one guy that I keep seeing that keeps blowing me away, Adunzi. That freaking kid is an absolute speed demon, untrackable monster of a football player. He was open. I can't recall, but I want to say he missed him wide open on 2 or 3 deep shots where he was running wide open down the field uncovered. And the one that he hit him on, and correct me if I'm wrong, Adunzi had to stop and wait for the football. Otherwise, he'd have hit his head on the goalpost. I like Penix. I think he's going to be okay in the NFL. I just don't think he's a top 32 player. And if you draft him thinking that, I think you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Ron, go ahead, because I'm getting crushed on Twitter. Everybody's screaming, no, he's definitely a first-round pick.
No, he's not a first-round pick. He's a second, maybe a third. Maybe a second, maybe a third, but that's where he'll go. That's where he'll go. He's not mobile. He can't, like you say, he can't really carry a team. And the more you watch them, the more that you made clear that maybe his receivers make them look good.
Yeah, I think because of the team he played last night in Michigan, that they were fast, they were physical, they came at him. That's going to be the type of players and teams in the NFL. And if he can't do it now against a good Michigan team, he's going to have a hard time doing that at the next level. Where, look, he'll be coached up and, he'll have to learn how to play in the NFL. But I actually, Penix, in my view, from where I sort of had him on the board, he took a step back last night because of not being able to pick up the defense and scramble more and get out of the pocket and just do some different things. So again, I'm not saying he's not going to translate to the next level, but I thought I was going to see more out of him last night than I saw out of him. So
yeah, there's a couple of times during the game last night that you could see that he could have ran, but he just stood in a pocket. I think one time he got sacked.
Yeah.
One time he got sacked. I think the other time was just bad interception and bad incompletes. And I think Michigan knew that. Michigan knew that he's not going to run.
Well, I think listen, I got to give credit to the coaching staff of Michigan. They really did a great job. I mean, they pinpointed his weaknesses and they attacked. I thought that was a fantastic job.
Now
Go ahead.
Now, do you guys think that the Tyler Johnson being hurt and no running game hurt them at all?
I was going to touch on this. I don't think Tyler Johnson was going to make that much of a factor, just because from what we saw, they couldn't run them any of the way. It didn't matter who was running against them. It was 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and that was when they had a good run. I feel bad because that kid got hurt, but nothing that I saw last night. As soon as a running back got the ball, they were all over him, and they tried doing the quick screens, and as soon as they were doing that, they were all over him. There was nothing they did last night that Harbaugh didn't have these kids ready to face. And I know everybody's talking about Penix was under pressure and this and that. Do you guys know how many times Penix was sacked last night? Because I do. One time. So for all the talk that they were all over him all night, they had to start blitzing in that second quarter to get any kind of pressure. And that's when he started to hit the tight end underneath over and over again. And they quickly got out of that for the next quarter and a half. They stopped blitzing almost exclusively. They blitz every now and then, but they didn't blitz a lot.
And Michigan, I noticed Michigan played a lot of man and a lot of zone. So they were basically saying, Penix, you got to beat us, and he couldn't.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see where this goes. The next question that's up for grabs is the one that everybody in Michigan is screaming is never going to happen, and that's Harbaugh. If you listen to the Michigan alum, he's never leaving. He's Michigan for life. He doesn't want to leave. Why would he go? And the other half is saying, well, if he wants to go, he can go. We'll be just fine without him. I got news for you. I want to say this is the first title Michigan's won outright since like 1948, where it wasn't a co-champion somewhere in there. This is the first one they've won outright. Michigan needs Harbaugh more than Harbaugh needs Michigan at this point in time. And I believe he's ready to go to the NFL because, like we discussed a couple of weeks ago, I don't think the NCAA is done with Harbaugh.
No,
I think the NCAA is just coming out of him. I sent you guys that link, I believe, that was talking about how the NCAA is still investigating him. They have not given up on this. They didn't just sweep this under the rug and pretend this is over with now. The NCAA is now going to investigate him myself. I think it's time for him to go back home to the NFL. There are two teams to keep your eye on, in my opinion. The Los Angeles Chargers and, believe it or not, the Washington Commanders. I think those are the two teams that are possibly going to make a run at him. Washington just hired 2 new guys to run that front office. They want to make sure this gets done right. I think Harbaugh, for some reason, works better in the NFL than he does college because it took him a long time to build this program in college, and he still hasn't gotten a quarterback. He still hasn't gotten that blue chipper he was looking at. The kid that played last night, what's his name? J.J. McCarthy. He's okay, but he's not dynamic. His arm isn't overly impressive. He's not going to wow you at the combine.
No.
I mean, that's sort of what I think. Those are the two teams that I've got this nailed down for him going. I think he's gone. I think the Chargers have the inside track, but there's one problem. Do you guys want to know what the problem is in L.A.? What's been the problem with the Chargers? What has always been the problem with the Chargers?
The Chargers.
The ownership group sucks. The owner is an absolute cheapskate when it comes to getting a good coach. This is why they have pissed away talent like they have for 40 years that I've been watching football. Forever they're pissing away. LaDainian Tomlinson, Merriman, Junior Seau. It just never stops. They try to take the cheap way out. I'm not going to be surprised if they try to take the cheap way out again. I'm hoping that it's Washington, to be honest. I'm hoping that franchise, after 30-something years of Snyder shitting on them, bringing them down in the muck, having them out there in the junk with the pigs, just in the slop that was their life. Joe Gibbs got them revived for a couple of good years. Shanahan was the other only bright spot. Other than that, this organization has had almost nothing to look forward to. I hope Harbaugh says, they got the number 2 pick. What's it going to take to get that number 1 pick? Let me get this Caleb Williams guy because clearly Chicago is going to piss this away.
So with Bob Myers and Spillman, they didn't hire him as to work front office. They just hired them to be in the coaching search. That's their whole job.
Yes.
So help find not to work the front office. But
they are finding they want to find the vice president of football operations and the head coach. That's their job.
Is it Bob Myers?
Yeah.
Isn't he the Golden State guy?
Yes.
The ex-Golden State guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or yeah. Wow. I mean, I think that's a smart move, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Hiring a guy like that. I mean, he built the Golden State Warriors, right? So
I got no problem with it. I thought it was a great idea.
I think it's a good move.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, listen, obviously the NFL is different. Building a team in the NFL is different than building 5 or 6 guys in basketball, but it's the same mentality. So I think it's a really good move. Actually, Don, I actually like your point about Harbaugh going to Washington. I think after last night, I think after Michigan winning, I mean, I think with just the way that the landscape of college has really changed, I think Harbaugh is going to go to the NFL. And I'll tell you what, Washington seems like a logical choice. They could pick a guy out like that. They have a franchise who's dying to do something, turn over a new leaf. I think he's the perfect candidate. And like you said, I would not be surprised one bit if he starts over, picks Caleb at 2, and tries to build this thing for the next couple of years.
And you know what else Washington has that a lot of teams don't have coming into this season?
Cap space.
A lot of cap space, gentlemen. They got like $87 million, and they can clear more from what I saw. So that's a perfect spot for a coach.
Actually, it is. That's, you know what? That's a perfect landing spot. It really is. It really is.
Because they're just some old linemen away, because they have a running game, they have receivers.
Yeah.
The O-line sucked ass,
But was that coaching or was that talent? Because this is what I'm getting to with Chris Steichler's comments.
It's hard to say.
Eric Bieniemy did himself no favors this year getting a head coaching job. With all of the turmoil and the bitching coming out of that locker room saying they didn't like Bieniemy, he was too old school, he wasn't treating them like men. He did himself no favors. And also, before I finish, the quarterback situation in Washington regressed as the season went on. It didn't progress.
Totally.
Howell fell apart as the season went on, and they had no answers to fix the offense. That's why I've got sort of a cloud over Bieniemy right now. You had bad press to start with, bad press during the season, and then your quarterback looked like that. Go ahead, Rick. You clearly got something to say on this one.
But no, I was just going to add to that about Eric Bieniemy. Look, when he came from a great situation. He came from Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, a team that was Super Bowl. I mean, so, I think he was overhyped. I honestly do. I think he was overhyped. And, you kind of saw his warts when he goes to a team who maybe doesn't have that talent that the Chiefs had, or the quarterback, obviously. I mean, if you're such a good coach, if you're such a good offensive coordinator, you got to be able to shine poop, right? I mean, sometimes. And did he help Washington get better? No. So,
I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you're talking about their head coach, Ron Rivera. Well, he had 3-4 years? He's supposed to be this offensive mind or defensive mind.
Defensive mind, yeah.
Yeah, defensive mind. He didn't do shit in Washington. I mean, he made that team worse. So,
Go ahead, Ron. Go.
Yeah, go ahead, Ronnie.
All right, I don't fully agree with everything you guys are saying. I think
Okay.
I think the players players didn't like the old school stuff. I think they're maybe soft. Howell getting beat up in the backfield. How many sacks do you have? Like 97? Something like that?
Yeah, but how much was that on him? Because I've looked at this, right? And he was holding the ball when guys are open from what I saw. This is what, again, where I'm at here in Central Virginia, they cover the Commanders like crazy.
Okay.
There were times where he had guys open and was looking for the deeper throw instead of the immediate open read. That's my one, but the two's supposed to be deeper. Let me get to it. There were some problems that they had in their play calling that did not fit what they had as a scheme. Their run calling was atrocious all season. None of it looked good from about week 8 on, and the coaching did not fix it. If you have an issue with your offensive tackles, why are you putting in 5 and 7-step drops? And that doesn't make any sense to me. And there was too much of that going on. So I hear what's going on, and I hear that you've got – I've seen this, right? I've seen this now. So I don't have a whole lot into it, but that's where I think I see Harbaugh going as one of those two teams. And to jump the ladder into the NFL, another guy got let go today, Mike Vrabel. I sort of saw this coming. I put it out there on Monday. Black Friday was coming. We already had a few openings. I thought he might be let go just because, look, guys, I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound douchey. I know it is. Defensive coordinators in the NFL right now getting hired as head coaches don't typically last anymore. It's not that kind of a league anymore. And I know you need a good defensive coordinator, right? I get that. You're going to have one. And maybe defensive coordinators start getting paid more than offensive coordinators as a result because they're so hard to find right now. But if you're going to get hired as a defensive coordinator, you better have one hell of a staff that you're coming into town with. And all you have to do is look at the Houston Texans. DeMeco Ryan had a hell of a staff he brought in there. And by the way, don't be surprised if that offensive coordinator gets a lot of interviews this offseason because that's one of the hot names I keep seeing. Helm and the Lions OC are going to get a lot of interviews in the upcoming couple of weeks. I also saw where Bill Belichick is still in town, but they're supposedly working out something on that. I don't know, where else it's going to go from there. I just know Belichick, to me, I don't know that he fits today's modern football. I know. He's won a bunch of Super Bowls. I get it. He's royalty. What has he done since he lost Brady? Has he built a team? Has he ever truly had a great free agency or draft? Because there's only a handful of guys he's drafted that were truly great. Really, that's the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, most of his guys have been free agents that were sort of plug and play guys that fit his system. And that's gone now. That's gone now.
I'm not going to knock Belichick. I mean, he's obviously one of the greatest coaches ever. Hall of Famer. He has the resume, Super Bowls. But I will agree with this. I think that there's a disconnect at his age now, his style of play. And I just think with the NFL now and these players today, I don't think wherever Bill goes, he'll have success. And really, if you think about it, like how long is his window to go to a team and build them? I mean, is he going to go to a team like Chicago, or is he going to go to a team like Philadelphia, or like? You follow him? Yeah. So
Ricky's getting mad, boys. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, Ricky's in a hot temper right now at his coaching staff. He's ready to fire everybody if they lose this game.
I'll tell you what, I am, but I don't want it to be Bill Belichick. Again, I'm not disrespecting the guy. I think he's a hell of a coach. He's been for a long time. But to your guys' points, I think without Brady, without Gronk, without that, we're really, what quarterback has he gotten better? I mean, he drafted Mac Jones. What kind of quarterback's he now? So
he's a bench rider.
Yeah. So, I don't want to see Belichick. I mean, I'm just going to say Philadelphia. He ain't coming to Philly, but I'm just saying, I don't think Belichick's done. I don't know if he's going to be a head coach though.
Oh, he can't be a GM nowhere.
No, no one's going to hire him for that.
I don't know. I hate to see him walk out like this. If this is it.
Well, no, I'm thinking like a special advisory role or something.
Maybe,
you know what I mean?
But he really wants that. He wants that record, the Don Shula record. Unless
he does. He does. Yeah, he really does.
How many games is he off?
26. 26.
I mean, he's like 3 years off if he has average days. Like that's sort of where I'm at. That's 10, a lot, 20, man. That's a lot, dude. It's not a couple of games. Like we're not talking about we're going to bring you in for another year or two in New England so you can get that record. We're looking at a 4-year jaunt if you have one bad seson, let alone anything else.
Because that's 9 wins a season. And what team is he going to? That's going to give him 9 wins and for 3 years straight, right?
Can he revenge himself? Can he walk away from the Patriot way? You know the old saying, you can't teach the old dog new tricks, But,
Siegel puts out a good point. He says he thinks he stays in New England. He hasn't left yet, right? And so the theme that I heard today was that McDaniels wants to come home again and coach the offense again back in New England. and Vrabel is possibly looking to come back and become some sort of a staff member on the team. So that's what I've been hearing today, because he can't take over the DC because Belichick's son, in theory, is the DC. And he's not going to let Vrabel take that job from his son.
I'll tell you what, that's not a bad theory, because the Patriots family, Kraft keeps that, as the Patriots family. Maybe he stays around for 2 or 3 years, 4 years. He gets a quarterback. He brings Vrabel in. He brings these other guys in. And then once he goes out, whether it's Vrabel or someone else that takes over as the head coach. I just think that's how Kraft runs things out there. And I don't think he wants to go too far outside of the box.
No, I agree. He doesn't.
Yeah. Now, if McDaniels does come back, Mac Jones actually made a Pro Bowl the year that McDaniels was the OC. I think, now this is my personal opinion about Mac Jones is, I think they hurt him big time last year, having Borsha, Matt Patricia, and Judge being OCs. They set him back years.
Oh, no, you are absolutely right, Ron. I mean, McDaniels, for some reason, when he's with Belichick, he can work an offensive magic.
Yep.
He can make an average quarterback look great because he really is a talented, offensively schemed mind. But when you put that dude in charge of the whole thing, there ain't shit that guy. He's just terrible, dude.
Yeah,
he is terrible.
Ass.
When the Raiders hired him as a Broncos fan, I said, praise Jesus, you morons, you're going to find out now. You're going to learn today. You're going to learn today. And here we are a couple years later, and it happens. It happens. So that's sort of where that went. I can tell you there's a couple other coaches, and I know right now the Saints fans have had it, man, with Dennis Allen. They've had it with him. And I'm surprised. No, I'm serious, man. I'm surprised that we have not heard his name yet, because he really has not done enough, in my opinion, to keep that job with an iron fist the way they're acting right now. He just hasn't. He's been okay, but he's not great. Like, I don't get it, man. So I don't know. That's just me.
You know what's funny about that? The whole was it Williams getting that touchdown? Did you see Jameson Winston talking about it?
Yeah.
Hey, kudos to him. I mean, he pretty much threw shade at Dennis Allen. But the thing is, all the players are standing up for Winston, though.
Yes, they are. And that's sort of what got my attention was, hey, man, so maybe it's time for this guy to go.
Yeah, maybe he's lost the locker room a little bit with if all your players are standing up for Winston,
Yeah, the backup quarterback. I mean, that says a lot. Chris, I don't know who Atlanta's going to hire next. I think they're going to be very thorough in this search. I believe you're going to see every rock get unturned. But like I said, the hot names I'm seeing, the Lions offensive coordinator, I don't know if you guys have seen that, but he's all over the place. I've seen, the Houston Texans offensive coordinator. He's all over the place. And they're even mentioning the Rams DC, but I don't know about that one, man. We've already done this dog and pony show, right? Like the recycling.
And also Aaron Glenn, too, Detroit's DC.
Yes, I did see him. I saw him as well. But again, this comes back to my initial point is I'm not big on hiring DCs anymore. It generally doesn't work out. Because if you guys have been watching the Jets, the head coach has been under some serious, fire up there, man. Like, they're like, should we move on from this guy? Should we move on from this guy? You can't move on from this guy. You drafted him a shit quarterback, and then Aaron Rodgers got hurt. He gets at least one more year in that system to prove he can work this out. That's just my opinion. I wouldn't move on from him. But there definitely needs, and there's one more coach that before we move on to the playoff preview that I want to talk about. Bills coach, if he don't win and get them into at least the AFC Championship game, I think he's gone. I think he's gone.
Yeah,
anybody disagree?
Yeah, I think he's definitely underachieved. I think Buffalo's underachieved in the last 4 or 5 years. I think Josh Allen, the coach, I think they definitely need to make a run this year. I mean, I don't think Allen's going anywhere, but I do think that the coach will.
Yeah. Okay. We had last weekend. Let's face it. Last weekend was not exactly great football, so I'm not going to get too far into that. It was a lot of real bad football by a lot of backups. You didn't see a whole lot of starters. Teams that had secured sort of rode the pine, and then the haves and the have-nots and the red-hot teams. There's a couple of teams I want to talk about coming into the playoffs and I think are hot. I mean, I really think are hot. Number one are obviously the number one seeds. Baltimore and San Francisco are hot, right? I think we can all agree with that, right? They're hot.
Yeah.
They've had a couple of hiccups. Baltimore especially is streaking hot. Like they were so hot, they get to rest their guys and make sure they're fully healthy for 2 weeks. Another team that's sneaky hot, Buffalo. Buffalo went on a run, son. Buffalo had to win like 5 in a row to make the playoffs, and guess what? They did it. I don't want to play Buffalo right now, and I don't care who you are. That's just me.
Doesn't it seem like Buffalo does this every year?
It really does. And that's why I think that coach is in so much trouble. I don't want to play Buffalo. Buffalo is playing Pittsburgh, and TJ Watt is now out. I'm sorry, TJ Watt is out. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that matchup? I mean, to me, it's the Bills all day.
Well, no, I do. I think the Bills win. I just think that regardless, Pittsburgh's a well-coached team. I think Tomlin is just an excellent coach. He makes the most out of what he has. Do I think Pittsburgh's going to win? No, I don't. But I think it's going to be a pretty close game.
You think so? I think. Go ahead.
No, I think so too. I think it's going to be a close game. But I'm not going to really totally count out Pittsburgh too, because if they can get pressure on Allen, that's going to, that's when he makes mistakes.
I think Siegel has sort of my opinion. It's going to be like a 17-3 type ball game. Going to be cold, going to be windy, going to be snowy. And I'm just going to be honest, guys, without Watt, I don't think that defensive front seven is nearly as nasty. I don't think they can get after the quarterback. I don't see any way for Pittsburgh to win this game, barring something happening to Allen pre-game or during the game early. I can't see it. I can't see it. Oh, which, by the way, we forgot to cover. I finally won a damn game in college football. I took the damn Wolverines last week. It was the first time I won. I was wrong about everything. I got one damn game right. The one game I got right. You both were the other way. I was like, yes, I got one.
Oh, that's right. You did. Yeah.
That's right.
Thank God for that. Anyway,
yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. Detroit in the NFC is also a hot team. I'm looking forward to this game because it's your Rams, Ron. So I'm gonna let you have this for a minute.
Come on.
What
the Rams,
are you worried about?
You start,
No. The Rams are freaking pretty hot too. They lost one game. And that was to the Baltimore Ravens. And that's because they couldn't. They've lost one game. They've gone.
I hear you.
They're okay. My worries about the Rams, it's the freaking special teams. That's going to be the death of them. It'll be the death of them. They can't kick. They can't cover punts.
Other than that, they do anything right?
That they don't. They suck. They're the sixth worst unit in NFL history.
Nice. At least they're doing something right.
All right,
you're going to suck the whole way.
Listen, I got a surprise. I got two surprises, and
I think I already know what you're going to say. I think I know what you're going to say about this game.
One is with this game. I honestly think the Rams upset the Lions.
Yeah.
Why?
I like the Lions. I think they're okay. I got to be honest with you. I think their quarterback is a little.
You say it. You say it. Say it.
Jared Goff. He's a pussy.
I knew it. I knew it.
I'm funny how. You said it.
I knew you were going to say it. I said I'm going to let him have this.
Yeah, I don't like Goff, and I think the stage is going to be big for him, and somehow, some way, maybe we get some vintage Donald, getting some pressure on him, and maybe the Rams get a couple, key turnovers, and Nakua has, 12 receptions, 162 yards, and a touchdown. Maybe Kupp has 10. I don't know. I do. I think the Lions are right for an upset, or the Rams are right for an upset here.
And plus, the Rams have been there. The game won't be too big for them at all. Yeah. They're young. They're young as hell, but the game won't be too big for them. Once they get pressure on Goff, that's when he starts running like a baby giraffe. Yeah.
Yep. I will not be surprised.
Ron, Ricky, I knew he was going to say Goff. I knew that was coming. However, there's another part of this Detroit team that if you're a Detroit fan, you should be worried about because it's been a problem all year. Your back end sucks. Their secondary is not good. And if Hutchinson gets doubled off that edge and can't get out there, I agree. It feels like an upset in the making to me. I don't know, man. It just does. So I'm looking forward to all the playoff games.
Hey, Ron,
Those
I
are
just want to hold on real quick. Ron, is Cup healthy? Is Cup playing? Cup's playing, right?
Yeah, Cup's healthy. Yeah,
Cup's healthy, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Is there any way that Philadelphia loses this game? Because we're going to talk about some cold teams now. And Philadelphia. Oh, there it is.
Whoa.
Hold on. There you go. Is there any way? Listen,
what I'm saying is we're going to talk hot and cold teams. Philadelphia's ice cold. They look like they quit last week. They look like they quit.
I'm going to change your question and say, is there any way that they win this game? I'm serious. I'm not kidding. I'm dead serious. I am not kidding. I do not think, and I actually have it written down. I wrote it down at the start of the show, and I said it today to a couple friends. Philly's losing this game 24-20.
You think they're going to? Well, I'll say this much. It sounds crazy given their records, but I don't know how they're going to stop White on that run defense.
How can I put this? I've been watching football for a long time. I'm an Eagles fan, obviously, but I've watched football. The last 6 weeks alone. Now, I'm not saying at the beginning of the season, because even though they were 10-1, it was very misleading. There was a lot of fool's gold. But I'm not even going to get into all that. The last 6 weeks, I don't know if I have seen a worse defense in a span of 6 games than I have with this team playing the likes of the Giants, Arizona, teams like that who are already
bad offensive teams. Yeah.
Bad, just brutal teams. The Eagles, look, the coaches aren't going to say this, players aren't going to say this, but they fucking quit last week. They quit.
That's what I saw. That's what I saw.
And people could say whatever they want. They quit. And there's a lot going on. I don't know what's going on internal and all that stuff, but just to be honest with you, they don't have the talent on defense to say, oh, yeah, the Eagles are that much better than this team. They aren't. The Eagles aren't. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that I get my balls busted, and I hope that I'm totally wrong. But
is AJ Brown healthy?
I think he's healthy physically, but mentally, I don't know.
It was ugly last week. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Brutal.
Ron, did you see any of it? Because I clicked off after halftime. I was like, this is unwatchable.
Listen, I don't even know when I clicked off. I probably put Dateline on and I went and folded close. I did. Yeah, it was. We were so mad. Like me and my friend, like cousins, and we just gave up. All of us text at the same time and says, "F this." They quit. And so I'll say this, and this has kind of been the talk around Philly, but this is how I feel. I think the Eagles are going to lose to Tampa Bay, and I also think that the coaching staff, the coach and his staff, are going to be gone.
I think the coaching staff might be gone. I think the head coach stays on.
Really?
Yes. I think they will tell him, you've got to make some changes. This isn't working. You need to go back inside of your own roster and hire from within and get this thing back on track.
Yeah.
That's what I see. I don't see them losing, though. So I'll say that much now. I see Philadelphia being the one cold team winning this weekend.
Yeah.
I just see it. I don't know if they're going to make it much farther, but I think they're going to win this game.
I'm just saying, and look, I really do hope that I'm wrong, but like, you can't turn the switch on like that after 6 weeks of playing like they've played, giving up points, playing these teams, then all of a sudden saying, yeah, this is going to be the week and a playoff week. I don't see it. But again, I want the Eagles to win. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but I just don't see it. I don't see how they're going to pull it out.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
The other cold team I want to talk about is Miami. They are iceberg cold. The injuries have taken them down, and they're going up against Kansas City, who secretly is hot. No one's paying attention to Kansas City because they're not getting a million touchdowns a game, but they're moving the ball efficiently. They're going up and down the field. They're getting points, and their defense is holding. And I talked about at the end of the season, Rice is clearly becoming their number one wideout.
Oh,
Should start
big time.
bring up Kelsey. Go ahead.
Big time. He's done that. He's done that. I think he led all the rookie receivers in yak yards this year.
I think he led them all in receiving yards. No, the only one that led them more was the Vikings.
Yeah. They're playing phenomenal right now. They're not, like you said, not scoring 30, 40 points, but they're playing enough to win. And plus,
they're playing good team football.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't have to carry the defense. Defense doesn't carry the offense. It's all equal right now. It's going to be 18 degrees. 18 degrees.
Yeah. Miami don't do well.
Miami doesn't do well.
No.
Kansas City's favored by 4. I love the Chiefs in this game.
I love them too.
Yeah. I think the Chiefs have a big game.
I think I'm going to have to put a little bit of money on this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's just me. Because, look, I mean, how bad is it, man? Rod, you saw it. The Miami's without their 2 best pass rushers, man. Like, that's just awful, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you can't keep Patty Mahomes, even though he might have lost half a step, if you can't keep him in the pocket and he's able to get out and do his magic, his thing, Did you guys see
Melvin? Did you see Melvin Ingram? What did he look like?
No.
When he was playing. Holy.
That's right. Yes.
He looked like me, a middle-aged old man out there trying to cover somebody. It's like
he looked like Melvin Ingram ate Melvin Ingram. Is what he looked like.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he looked like. Who the hell is that guy?
Exactly.
You're like, that's Melvin Ingram. I was like, what the shit is he doing out there, man?
I could just see, you know what? I could see Kelsey in this game having double-digit receptions, well over 100 yards and just attacking the field.
And, Miami, quite frankly, just had some bad luck with injuries this year. They just did.
Oh, yeah.
They lost their 2 best pass rushers. They need to get them healthy. They need to bring back their nose tackle. They can't let that guy go, man. That guy is the plug that holds that entire middle. And I get it, Chris. They were without one of their best wideouts, and that's great, but it doesn't fix the defense that's just atrocious right now. The defense can't stop anything. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. I like Miami in this too, or Kansas City giving up 4. Might have to take a look at this one, lay a little bit of money. Buffalo's favored by 10 points, by the way.
What?
So, yeah. I mean, we talked about it last week. Pittsburgh essentially needed the ultimate choke job by the Jags to get the playoffs, and that's why they're here. That's the only reason they're here, is because the Jags, once again, spit the bit. I don't know if you saw that. They fired the defensive coordinator, which they should have, because that was there's too much damn talent on that front four for them to be playing this bad. There's just too much. I can't not believe how bad the Jaguar season turned out. Rod, you said they'd lose. I couldn't see it. I tipped my hat. I did have Houston making it, though. I did have them over Indy, so I had you there.
No, I had Houston. Oh, no, I had Indy. I did.
You had Indy, baby. You had Indy, baby.
I did.
Because we were 2 different ways. The line on the Houston-Cleveland game, Cleveland's given up 2.5. And this was the last game I want to talk about specifically. This is the weirdest game I think I'm going to see all weekend in playoff football. It has to be the weirdest one we're going to see, right? It's a Saturday game. It's a 4:30 game. Everything about this game says freaking weird. None of it's normal, right? Cleveland, who has no business being here, down to their 4-string quarterback, backup running backs. Houston, who has a rookie freshman coach, a rookie coach, a rookie quarterback. They have no business being here. It's almost like a paradox that we're going to see this Saturday. I like Houston because I just don't know that Flacco can keep this going myself.
100%.
Don, you took the words out of my mouth. I mean, I think Houston is just this upstart, ready to go team. I think it's a great story, Flacco, obviously, but I just think Texans are going to take them. I think it's going to be a pretty even matchup, but I like Houston to cover by double digits.
Yeah, I think the first time played each other in the regular season, Casey Keenum. Was he the starting quarterback?
I think.
I want to say he played one of them. Yeah, I can't remember which one.
Ron, can I just back up a second? So you just said Casey Kasem, right?
Yeah.
So do you guys know Well, no, that's okay.
Uh.
Listen, so his daughter, Carrie Case, on my follow on Instagram.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you guys are on Instagram, follow her. She's actually a pretty good follow.
I'll check it out.
Well, then I might do that. So that sort of covers it all. I'm looking forward to this weekend. There was a couple of awards I wanted to get into.
Do you?
Oh, and I also want to cover the Titans, right? I mean, go ahead, Rick. I see you got something.
Well, no. What about the Dallas Packers game?
I'm not covering that shit. The Packers got no business being here. I'm not covering the Dallas Cowboys kicking the shit out of the Packers. The Packers are lucky to be here as well because the Vikings didn't know what the hell they were doing. The Vikings didn't know what they were doing. Just shit.
I just asked if we were covering
wasting my time with this shit.
Yo, brother. Yo, Ron. I just asked if we were covering it.
Bunch of horse shit. Ain't no way.
That's what we do on our show. We cover the horse shit too, brother.
No. Do you think there's actually a chance in hell that Green Bay goes into Dallas and wins?
No. Honestly, no, I don't. I think Dallas is rolling. No, but I think it's going to be a pretty decent game.
You know, if the Rams win and Philadelphia wins, Rams play Niners and Philadelphia plays Cowboys next week.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Old-fashioned showdown.
Oh, the NFL would like that.
Yes, they would.
Oh, yeah. They'll eat that up for lunch. That will absolutely – the Cowboys will be the Sunday night game as soon as they get off the ball. I mean, you know that's
– Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Wanted to talk about the last part of this. Oh, it's time to give out awards. Thanks for watching, Vin. By the way, everybody, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. We need those clicks. Coach of the year. Let's go. Okay, MVP. Let's do this. Lamar Jackson. That's mine. I've said it now for how many weeks? How many weeks have I said it?
For the last 5 weeks, at least.
At least. I'm all over it. That's my guy.
I agree.
I'll agree.
Okay. Coach of the year.
Here we go.
Stefanski.
D'Amico.
Okay. You're going to stand on this hill. You're going to die on this hill. Both of you.
My brother.
Okay.
Love you,
That's
brother.
right.
Love you.
Yeah, we're going to see this here in a couple of weeks.
Power to D'Amico.
Is there any question who the offensive player of the year is?
McCaffrey.
Tyreek Hill.
I think it's McCaffrey. McCaffrey's the number one seed. McCaffrey, I think, had close to 2,000 scrimmage yards. I think it's McCaffrey all day.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, wait.
Go ahead.
Can we go Lamar Jackson? He was up there.
No,
too,
he's
bro.
getting the MVP.
All right, he's getting the MVP. All right. Okay.
Once you get the MVP, you're out. You're usually
That's
out
it.
for
All right.
I'm out after that.
Oof.
Offensive rookie of the year, Stroud, right? It's Stroud.
I can't think anyone else.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
Was Pakua? Is Pakua a rookie?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, he is.
I'll tell you, he's close. He's close.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's a coin toss for me. A coin toss.
A coin toss. That's all right.
Yeah.
That's okay, Ron. That's all right.
You can't go wrong with either one of them. That's the thing.
No, I tell you what, I thought about that, and Nakua, his numbers are off the charts.
Yeah.
No, they are. They're out of control. I mean, they're absolutely insane. Everything he's done has just been amazing out of nowhere.
But so is Stroud. Stroud's a rookie
But that's sort of my
quarterback.
thing is, so here's my thing. Stroud touches the ball every offensive play. That's why he gets my vote.
Yeah. That makes sense.
That's where I'm going. So what about defense? This is the last one. Defensive rookie of the year.
Kobe Turner for the Rams.
Okay.
He has 9 sacks. He leads all the rookies in sacks.
I know.
And pressures. But he won't get it because he's a 3rd round draft choice.
No, I'm not saying he's not going to get it. I'm not saying that at all. This is the one. This is where I think he sort of loses out to Will Anderson to me, because they're the one. They won their division. They're the team out of nowhere, and it just feels like they want to honor this team for what they've done, because he's led a team that, let's face it, if you've seen them play at all, Will Anderson has been the catalyst on that team getting a pass rush, and he's only got 7 sacks. And I know it's not a lot, but he's been the guy that's
he's on the edge
over,
too.
Yes.
He's on the edge.
So,
He's not a tackle. Okay, so you just said honor the team. So why aren't you going for DeMeco Ryans then? Because then that'd be complete sweep of honoring the team.
well, because I honestly think
without a good head coach leading these gentlemen, they wouldn't go nowhere.
Because DeMeco Ryans only got 9 wins with a starting quarterback, and Stefanski got 11 with a 4-string guy. That's why.
You can't say Flacco's a 4-string guy. He's won Super Bowl.
He is. He's a 4-string guy. He came off the couch. He's as 4-string as it gets. That was like when Vinny Testaverde came out for Carolina and sucked.
He was a vet chilling out, waiting. It was not like he's been out of the NFL for 3 years.
No.
What you got, Ricky?
Wait, hold on. I told you guys he was from my area, right?
Who you go with?
For what?
Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Anderson.
See, I think it's Anderson too. Just because I've seen him play enough now, and I've seen that guy make you adjust your game plan to him after a tackle or two. That's just me. I'm looking forward to the NFL this weekend, guys. Thanks for joining. I am trying to suck it up and get through this. It was.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody for tuning in. Hit the
Please
like button, follow,
subscribe.
share.
You guys have a great day. Thanks for hanging in there with us.
Thank you, fellas. Have a good night. Talk to you guys soon.
All right, brothers. Late.